Hello again. Welcome to another edition of Kestra PWS Out Loud. I'm Rob Bartenstein, and as usual, I am joined by my partner, Scott Wilson. Today we have a special guest, Matt West. And Matt, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you very much. It's good to be here.
You, speaking of being here, you haven't been here all that long, have you?
No, we came over in October.
So tell us a little bit about you, your firm, where you were before, and kind of how this all came to be.
Sure. Thanks. We were at Merrill. Our last time was there. We started at Dean Witter, a partner now. When I say we, Dave and I, in 1996.
Yeah.
So, moved around the Wirehouses a little bit, ended in Merrill in 2008. And the primary focus of our business is corporate executives, high net worth people. And sorry, what was the last question?
Just how long you've been here and kind of like how you came to be. I think you answered that. So your firm is?
Firm is Canton Wealth Partners, Roswell, Georgia.
Roswell, Georgia. Mm-hmm. And you guys, there are 3 of you and 2 assistants.
There's 5 in the firm. Myself, my long-term partner, Dave Combs. We've been partners for 25 years. Mm-hmm. And then Benji McLeod, a long-term colleague of ours. I actually trained Benji a lifetime ago. Of course, he's taken off and been a very successful FA in his own right. And then we came together again at Merrill about 8 years ago.
And you all are in one location now, but we already have a plan to open another one, right?
We do. Benji lives in a town about 2 hours south of Atlanta, so he, his idea is to be more near his family, like we all want to be.
Right.
We all want to be close to our family, and then gives us another avenue to build out the business, build out the brand. So we're really excited about opening that second office for sure.
Sometimes people talk about transition as a little bit like childbirth. and it's fresh in your memory, right? I mean, you all really kind of just finished.
Sure.
So tell us a little bit about that. You can tell us the good, the bad, and the ugly.
I'll be happy to. Well, first of all, childbirth was easy for me. I just stand there. I mean, I'll be honest with you. But for the wife, the 3 times, I'm sure it's quite difficult.
Right.
Transition change is always difficult. I've done this before. We left Dean Witter for UBS for Merrill. So we going into it what it's going to be like. Mm-hmm. I guess there is an added little bit of concern because it's the unknown. Being independent, for so long in the Wirehouse, but the whole process from introductions to different platforms to deciding to work with you guys to the move. I mean, it was 3 or 4 years. It wasn't a short term, and y'all worked with us all the way. So by the time we got ready, I was just ready to go. I was ready to go time, that kind of thing. But the anticipation and the unknown, that's the hardest part, I guess, about getting ready to go. It's like anything, right? Once you jump, right, and then you're in it.
What about the products and services? I mean, a lot of people have concern that maybe coming from a Merrill or Morgan or UBS, there may not be the quality of services in the independent space. How do you feel now that you've gone through that?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Well, that is a good question. At first, when you make the transition, everything is different. So then you don't understand if that different means good or bad, right? And so you're learning and you're just absorbing all this info. So at first, I thought, I'm giving up so many of these things that I've relied on for so long, the website tech here, the ease of movement here, and all that. But what I found is you just have to explore a little deeper under the hood because you have more options now. You have more choices, and with choices may come a little bit longer decision-making time. But as far as the services, I'm able to replicate and do everything I did before. I mean, I'm the PM for most of my clients. That really never had to change. The way I do the job, though, I mean, through the new technology, it's different, but it's doable. And in products, there's more products that I've found, because you have a basket. I got to be honest with you, I haven't even got into all the different products and opportunities and everything. So looking forward to that.
It's really part of our model, right? That we're here to help consult and make that transition in a fully supported model, a lot easier. And I'm glad that it's worked out as well as it did for you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. The whole, setting up the office, that, and then the move and all the technology. I've said it before. I couldn't imagine doing that on my own with all the stress of the job and the clients and the family.
That's it. I mean, well, that's, when we were setting this thing up, that was kind of the answer to the question of what can we provide to the market was really those things, because we know you don't need our help being a PM. We know you don't need our help with client relationships or anything along those lines. But what you probably really want to do is focus on those things and not have to worry about changing the toner and the copier and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So that whole thing is kind of the reason that we began in the first place. So it's really cool to hear you say that, and we're almost 12 years on now. But I know that people that are listening, excuse me, I know that people that are listening have a kind of the $1 million question is, all right, man, okay, cool. You got your own firm, you got your own name, you got your own office, logo, brand, like cool. But what about the assets? Do people come?
I feel very blessed. I mean, I truly do. I was able to retain about 90% of our relationships. Didn't get them all, and at first, like I look, as if every now and then when I got the no or the and I thought, wow, I've put so much time and effort into these people.
Right.
It's because they're precious. All of them are precious. But
right.
But what I realized is now that I'm over. I mean, my book is cleaner with no debt accounts, really, and I love those people. But not everybody deserves or requires a lot of your time, but they still take up some bandwidth. Mm-hmm. And so, in getting rid of some of those legacy assets that weren't really propelling the business, and in consolidating my book, into which I'd done getting ready to move. I mean, this whole process wasn't like I was 2 or 3 years in, no understanding where I wanted to be. So I moved the portfolio into, something that could be replicated anywhere and everywhere, highly liquid, things like that. So, I think that the asset transition was much easier doing it that way. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at, more than I thought. When you do the math and you like, this is the number I'm going to be at, and this would be really good, and I'll probably not hit that. Well,
you manage your own expectations.
Yeah, well, right? You never know.
I thought we were both advisors for a very long time, as you know, and I think what I always am sensitive to is that we know how hard it is to get a client. We know the blood, sweat, and tears, right? That each family and each client represents, and look. I think we're all, and I'm talking about the whole business, I think we're all wired this way. Losing one of those people can feel worse than getting everyone else at times, right? And we kind of have to just manage our psychology and just say, look, I mean, many are called, but few are chosen. But when you say you're at 90%, I mean, the number that I tell people that I'm confident of is 80%. So you all are doing better than kind of where I would try and set expectations, but we feel it every time somebody doesn't get one of those folks that they kind of maybe thought they would. It hurts. But like, I think what people want to know is when the dust settles, am I good? And you're clearly validating the fact that, that 80% average is about right, and y'all did better than average.
Well, like I said, we feel very blessed. And, I look back at it now you worry about so many things.
Yeah.
And I think you really forget that your clients really, they need you. They want to be with you. You just have to give them.
It's you, right? It's not the bull or whatever. It's you. That's who they want to be with.
Well, come to find out, but you wonder,
Right. You never know until you know.
But then after the conversations, overwhelmingly it was, it was well received, and look, it's not all. You said you've always been straight up. Nothing's perfect. Nothing's going to be perfect. We're going to make mistakes, and we did the same coming over. But the overwhelming response was, what are you doing and why? And when we gave them that, when we let them anchor to something about why we were doing and quite honestly, I position it as you can be part of something,
right?
Instead of being subject to something,
right?
To being, just thought of as a number.
That's strong.
Why not be part of something, And I think that spoke to people.
Yeah.
What about when you walked into your office and the first time you saw your name on the wall? It's a special time for us. We go to a lot of open houses, and meet your clients. We're looking forward to going to yours. But what was that like when you finally saw the name Canton Wealth?
Well, the first time, I know you know what I'm talking about. For the first 3 months, I can't remember what I was thinking other than I got to get on the phone and talk to clients. I mean, it was obsessing about, 4:30 to 10 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. But then sometime after the initial, that surge came over, there was one day, I don't know if it was the first day or the second, I'm sitting there and I realized that this is my office. This is my business. And, I go in every day and I just feel so much happier.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. I mean, I was so tired of the omnipotent, oppressive, wirehouse mentality. When I got in this, I was telling my wife last night, I got in this business, you were an entrepreneur. You were prized for your individualism.
Right.
You were treated like a partner.
That's what was going to make it all work.
Yeah. And then those people that were successful in that, the ones that went out and drove that idea, all of a sudden then 20 years into my career, no, you're not an entrepreneur. No, you're an employee. Right. And you need to do it this way.
Right.
And to think that's going to work, I don't want it for everybody. It's not going to work for me.
And at Merrill, I mean, in any of the wirehouses, right?
Right.
That structure is very good for a number of people. I mean, this independent journey is not for everybody. There are a lot of people that model works incredibly well, and they're very successful. But I think our model, for the people that have those feelings that you had, that needed to change, they need to step it up a little bit, they need to challenge. People like you do well. You own the business. We're here to support it. And I just love when I see the name on the wall. I walk into that office, it's beautiful. It represents, the tone that you three want with your team. So it's been very impressive.
I have to agree.
I appreciate it.
People have stopped asking me about the death of the wirehouse. I mean, I think, 8 or 9 years ago, people thought all these wirehouses were going out of business. And you and I both said at the time, like, there's always going to be a place for a wirehouse. Because it's going to be a place for people to start, and it's going to be a place for people who, like Matt was saying, who kind of want to be an employee. They don't really want to have to, and I'm not saying everybody who's still at a wirehouse is like this. That wouldn't be correct either. I mean, there are a lot of people that are there that, have built, to Matt's point, have built incredible businesses being entrepreneurial. But the vibe has definitely shifted now, and it's definitely much more about do what we tell you to do, right? That's what we need you to do. We kind of need you to row the Excel spreadsheet in the same direction as everybody else. And I think that's ultimately, what makes people like Matt and others that we work with, poke their head up and look around. And it's not a fast process, like you said. It takes a while, but I think universally people have that sense of not relief. That's not even close to the right word, but like reward. Like you guys, you took the thing that you spent your lives building, remembered what it was like when it was fun, wanted it to be fun again, figured out a way to get out and make it fun again, and here you are. And now your work life, your professional life satisfaction is back where you want it to be, but also, right, your personal life all of a sudden gets better too, right? Don't you feel like that's true as well?
Yeah,
I feel like just
give me a couple more months. My personal life is a little non-existent right now. We're working late, but no, it is.
I can see the green shoots though, like your 7-year-old draft yesterday and stuff like that. Like I see it. I know how hard it's been to get through this little bit of time here,
Yeah.
but I can see the difference from seeing you a couple of months ago to seeing you today, and kind of where your head is, and with Dave and Benji as well. And it's fun to see that.
It is. And, my wife has always been important to me as far as, just a rock. And through this whole process, she was incredibly supportive. She's been telling me for years that I just needed to do my own thing, because, I would say if I was doing it, I would do this.
Right.
And if I would do it, then it's like, put up and shut up. I love you.
Excuses now.
Yeah. Where's your excuse? Go for it, big guy. Right. And, so she said something to me a few weeks ago when I was working but I was coming in reasonable hours again, that kind of stuff. And she just looked at me and she goes, I can tell you're happier. Mm-hmm. She goes, I can absolutely tell you're happier.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm much happier. I'm not nearly as, it's not just the stress is easing now that the transition's over. I'm starting to realize that, it's a little overwhelming, but I'm starting to realize there's so many things that I can do. I just hope I have the energy to get into it. But I know, eat an elephant one bite at a time.
Yeah,
we'll get there. Yeah.
I saw it yesterday with Dave and with Benji when we met with your team yesterday, and everybody's smiling, and they all said the same thing. I mean, this was a lot of work, and we told you it was going to be a lot of work. But Benji, and when I was talking to him, and he's was going to build his own building down in Perry potentially, and the thought that he can be closer to his family, and Dave. Feels like he has a lot more time to go see his kids in college, play sports, and hang out with his wife and travel now. And it just means a lot to you when I see you guys happy.
Thanks.
And you came out the other
100%
side.
true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, we're coming up on time, and Matt, I don't want to put you on the spot, but is there anything else you'd want to tell folks that are still at the Wirehouse that are maybe thinking about making a change? Just any thoughts based on your experience?
be bold. I think that rewards come to those who reach out, and I think that you can and will be successful in any environment. And the independent space is so much more rewarding to me, and I think it could be for them too.
Well said. Well, I can't think of a better way to end it. Matt, thanks for coming in today. Appreciate your time. Scott, thank you as always. And so that's another episode of Kestra Private Wealth Services Out Loud. If you'd like to see more episodes, feel free to visit our website or visit us on the Apple Podcast app. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, guys.
All right.
We'll see you next time.